Judge in San Francisco is barring the Trump administration from denying federal money to sanctuary cities. We're joined live right now with Professor Rory Litttle from UC Law San Francisco to tell us what this means. So glad you're with us, Professor.
Happy to be here.
So what does this mean? We'll just start there.
Well, this is just one now of, over a half dozen of federal court injunctions against various orders that the president has issued in the last, 100 days. This particular order is a duplicate of an order that was done back in 2017 when he threatened to cut off funds for sanctuary cities. The same judge, Judge William Orrick in San Francisco, ruled against that and joined the operation of that order. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed it back in 2017, 2018. The Supreme Court did not pay any further attention to it. And now here we are, 7 years later, really just going through the exact same thing.
It seems like there's a pattern here, because I'm going to read some of the other rulings that judges have blocked. The federal funds to sanctuary cities, overhauling of U.S. elections, including proof of citizenship requirement. A federal judge also blocked Trump pushing to cut funding for public schools over diversity programs. So there seems to be a lot of blocks from federal judges here.
Yeah, I mean, what you're seeing is the constitutional system operating the way it's supposed to operate. There are three branches under the Constitution. One of them is the executive branch, and that executive branch can act very quickly. Congress is another branch. They seem to be just sitting on the sidelines for most of this right now. And the judicial branch. And the judicial branch is designed to be slow and designed to be careful and designed to sort of give opportunity for people to say their arguments on all sides. So it's not going to operate as quickly as the president, but now you see the judicial branch kind of finally getting its engines all revved up. And they're doing what they're supposed to do, which is carefully examine orders, grant injunctions when there is harm to people, especially when there's really no harm to the other side. There's no emergency to enforcing these orders that the president has issued. And so the federal courts are saying we're going to enjoin the operation of the order until we can figure out factually exactly the way they're going to operate and what's going to happen. And then the Trump administration is pushing this up to the Supreme Court. They're trying to treat the Supreme Court as though it was a lesser branch like a trial court and asking the Supreme Court to intervene on every one of these cases. The Supreme Court is not going to intervene on every one of these cases. They're certainly not going to intervene immediately. And so the president is going to have to get used to the idea that he operates in a three-branch constitutional system.
Do you think that's the whole point, though, is trying to take it to the Supreme Court? The president has appointed several justices. It certainly leans a certain way. Is that what he's trying to do, take it all the way to a court that might rule in his favor?
Well, he seems to think that if he appoints a justice, then that justice is in his back pocket. That is not the way it's worked out so far. I mean, he tried this with the Venezuelan deportation order, and the court, in a 9-0 opinion, actually, said you've got to give these people due process. And 7-2 ruled against him that they must facilitate the return of the accidentally deported person. So this is not a court that's in his back pocket. And the more he criticizes them publicly, the sort of angrier they're going to get. Because they are an independent branch with the same independent authority as the executive branch. Now, maybe his point is just to be disruptive or just to be as sort of antagonistic as possible and hope that the compromise comes back in his direction. But if he's trying to win in the Supreme Court, he's not going about it in a way that is very intelligent, frankly.
Professor Rory Litttle from UC Law, that's all the time that we have. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.